you a migraine sufferer? I was too, and I love the fact that I can say was. I started with migraines as a teenager. My mother suffered with migraines her entire life. When I started with them, my pediatrician said, well, what do you expect? Your mother has migraines, which wasn't a lot of comfort considering, oh gosh, she had headaches so badly and would just be moaning in a dark room for days on end. So that wasn't very exciting. By the time I was in my early 20s, I literally had a headache every single day. Not a migraine, but I had migraines 2 to 3 times a month. And then the rest of the days I had what I termed my regular headache to distinguish it between the migraine. So the intensity was less, etc. So I understand migraines. I still remember my last one. Had I known it was my last one, it would have been a lot easier to get through. But I remember being in a darkened room. I was already, I was already a clinician. I remember it was early days, and I never used much in the way of medication at all. My mother had terrible side effects with medication, and as a quick divergence off of that, we now understand genetically why certain people don't do well with certain drugs, so that's cool. That's the nutritional genomics part of the practice. But she said, yeah, just don't bother with that, and don't bother with that. And so I never did anything. But I remember lying in the darkened room and thinking, you know, if somebody came in the door right now with anything, I would take it. You know, it was that desperation, so I totally get it. And in the close to 30 years we've been in practice since, we've seen a lot of tough migraines, and getting rid of mine, you know, was of course amazing for me personally. Getting rid of my mother's was very rewarding because I didn't get a hold of her until her late 60s, but then she never had another migraine again, even though she'd suffered her whole life. For me, it was, oh gosh, about an 8-10 year period, but certainly not decades and decades. And so over the years, we've seen a lot of severe cases. And you know, what prompted today's video was a young woman who came in. She's like 31, and she's literally had migraines since she was 7 years old. Almost every day of her life, she has head pain. She's either moving into a migraine or moving out of a migraine, and she probably has 3 or 4 a week, but because they don't just disappear in a few hours, she's, you know, it's a very rare day for her that she's not in pain. And she's sought out a lot of help. She really has. She's definitely tried a lot of different things. And it was interesting to talk with our team here because we're all about functional medicine, root cause medicine, really getting down to the nitty-gritty of the problem, and realizing there's just so much she has not tried. She's done little forays into various things, but there really hasn't been that comprehensive look. And we find migraines to be multifactorial. And what we mean by that is we often find a food component. And I know if you're a migraine sufferer what you're thinking, which is, I've looked at that. I've looked at what I ate right before a migraine, and it's never the same, or I don't find a correlation, and I've tried eliminating chocolate or caffeine or this or that. I understand. Food sensitivities react very differently, and they have an 8-day window, which is crazy, I know, but it's true. So therefore, it's not just about what was the last meal or what was yesterday. It goes much farther back than that, and that's why you don't see the correlation. But trust me when I tell you, having done this for quite a while and we have excellent success, there's almost always a food correlation in a sensitivity fashion. There often is a structural component with irritated nerves in the neck or jaw or skull. We see that a great deal of the time. And for women particularly, there's often a hormonal component. So when it's a hormonal component, women definitely see a migraine associated with the menstrual cycle. For me, I had those and I had others. So I definitely got my menstrual migraine, but then the two other times of the month I was also suffering had nothing to do with my cycle. So again, that multifactorial aspect. So here, you know, having suffered with migraines, I know the pain, I know the misery, And I know that if you do a Google search, or if you just ask your conventional medicine doctor, they say, hey, there's really no cure. You just have to try this drug or try that drug, and try not to overdo the drugs, and all we can do is try to alleviate your symptoms. We don't find that to be the case, and I'm very happy to tell you that, because we eliminate migraines frequently, very frequently. The real barrier to whether you're going to get reversion or elimination of migraines really has to do with compliance more than anything else, because there is a dietary lifestyle facet to it. You're still eating, I still am eating, but there's certain things that I can't eat. I have a food sensitivity, and it really inflames my nervous system. Somebody else might get severe digestive complaints or get irritability or depression, but for those of us who have that migraine component, that's how our body responds to the food sensitivity, is the nervous system gets very inflamed and we get this horrific pain. So once again, the structural component, the food component, and potentially the hormone component. The hormone component isn't present for everyone. And I know it sounds so simple, right? But you really just need somebody who understands how to evaluate all those facets, and not just tell you, well, why don't you stay away from chocolate, or why don't you try staying away from caffeine, or these like kind of classic triggers. It's interesting, that's not what we typically find food-related wise is the real cause. It might be a trigger or an aggravator, but when you're talking root cause and getting rid of migraines for good, that's where the food sensitivities come in, and that's different. So I'd love to help. If you're a sufferer or you know somebody who suffers, please tell them about the clinic. Be more than happy to do a phone consultation if they're not local. If you are, come in, we'll do a consultation here, and let's get you relief, because we have really great results, and I'm just so happy to share that, because I know what it's like, and I know how lovely it is to no longer have them. So give us a call, 408-733-0400, or check out the website. You can contact us that way, rootcausemedicalclinics.com. I'll see you soon.